we are, how we've gotten to this point, and I will follow up with a little bit of the history moving forward, and then we will allow this group to kind of introduce yourselves as the department's ADA liaison, what department you represent, and if the audience will have questions after that, we'll direct them to the departments that those questions may be directly connected to. So with that, are we starting to record? So let's start off with Victoria. If you just, you're okay with being right there? I think they can see you. Just tell them how we got here.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria Johnson, City Manager's Office, and I want to say that some people may think that the ADA plan just started recently. It started when the DNC came, and we had to realize it wasn't what we needed to be, and we started to make some changes. With those changes, we started before we got really robust. We started doing things that we was doing it on a small scale. And as it ramped up, and we realized that we could be sued for not meeting these requirements. So we started to take a little more on-hands approach, and we went out and got our tour, they did the report, we came back, and we talked to ADA liaisons, monthly meetings. Some of you all sit on camera a lot, but we have monthly meetings. And we're at a point now that the transition plan is ready to go. We should probably get before council in July, but we're ready to go. Let me just say right now, the transition plan is a fluid plan that will change and evolve as ADA rules and regulations change and evolve. So what we want to make sure we do is, one, get ADA liaisons trained. The sponsors and work coordinators have went to the training, maybe not certified, but have went to the training. There will be some departments identified that actually needs to be certified just to help work more efficiently, because they get a lot more than other departments. But our overall plan is to move forward consistently and know what the city's doing as a whole. If the federal government actually make an appearance, ADA, where it sits now, with Terry office, they're gonna have to be able to answer for all departments and all 8,000 plus. And the only way to do that succinctly is to make sure we know about all the projects that's going on, know what we've accomplished, know what we see in the future, and know how long. We do have a 15-year span, and it's been in the budget. It was approved this year, and it will continue in order for us to get to the deadline. But it will, there's no such thing as a finish line. It's gonna always evolve, and everyone in this room at some point will need ADA. I've needed it because I was in a wheelchair twice for that problem. So trust me, the things you don't think about because you are able-bodied, you'll be surprised how quickly I got it going, and it's upsetting. So it's important. It's important that as a community, we don't bring some people along, we bring everybody along, no matter where they are. And that is what the ADA program is a part of doing, along with other venues that we have in the city. So anything that I miss?
I think you know that.
Y'all's attention, I passed.
Thank you, Victoria. And I think what the only thing Victoria failed to share was what she is actually has been the ambassador for ADA, and has kind of helped us move some barriers of our own, just to kind of ensure that this work was getting done. This work has been mentioned, is going to be ongoing, continuous, and we do have a finalized plan that outlines our work for the next 15 years. We have some work that's going to go 30 years and beyond, and that's the work that we're doing with the public right of way. But want the community to know again that this work just didn't start yesterday, but we've been doing, but we're more intentional about making sure that we're more connected as a city organization. We're communicating with each other. We're making sure that we're not duplicating efforts. And the biggest thing that we wanted to accomplish was to change the culture within our organization, to not just do this as an afterthought, but making sure that we knew that this was the right thing to do, and we will try to put Americans with Disabilities Act in the forefront of our work. So having trained liaisons at the table when decisions are being made, that's going to be more of the effort that you see around ADA. Having ADA liaisons that are at a higher level within the organization, you'll start to see that. And then again, to the community, there's still things that we may miss, but we won't know it unless you tell us. So that's going to be key. But again, my name is Terry Bradley, and I serve as the City of Charlotte's ADA coordinator. I work with the Community Relations Department. So with that, we have several other liaisons that are in the room today, and also on video that I would like for them to introduce themselves and what department they're with as well. So.
I did forget one part. Not only do I work for the city manager's office, but I'm representing because this is important work to me. It is important as a whole city. So I'm the person that try to move boulders out of the way so this work can continue. I know sometimes people may ask, we may have a deadline and they're like, can we go beyond? You know, there's a specific reason for deadline. It doesn't mean changes can't be made and run. It just means that we are on a trajectory and we can actually fold it in as we go, but we're really trying to move all forward to get to some place to show that we're in compliance as much as we can be as a city with the resources and everyone's trained and making sure that we're aware of what's going on in the city. Because at the end of the day, it's not me that's going to answer, and it's not Terry, it will be the city manager, Ms. Jones. And that is what I'm here to ensure that the day will come, we have all our tests.
Well, we'll start with Tracy, and we can kind of work our way around the room. Introduction of who you are, serving in what department?
Tracy Van Tassel, Charlotte Department of Transportation. So I'm primarily over the public rights of way.
I'm Brian Garrett, representing Solid Waste Services.
I'm Liz Hardick. I'm with the airport.
Maria Cantor with City Finance.
I'm Travis Honeycutt with Charlotte Water.
Alyssa Dodd. I'm with Stormwater Services.
I'm Leslie Blazer. I'm with Housing and Neighborhood Services.
Susan Walker, Finance Department.
Damien Owens, Charlotte Fire Department.
Lisa Flowers, City Attorney's Office.
And Terry, what I'm going to do is have, I'm behind the scenes, but gotta come forward. I'm Leslie Briggs with City ADA with Community Relations. And for those that are online, I'm going to unmute you all so that way you can introduce yourself. And I'm going to start with Allison.
Hi, this is Allison Bricky. I'm with the in-house design group and engineering services.
Chris.
Hey, Chris Lang with Cats.
Jeannie.
Janine Crump with the City Manager's Office.
Pam Young with Economic Development.
This is Joshua Siegel with Innovation and Technology.
Pam. Pam. And is there any attendees that are listed that are also on call who is a part of the city's ADA liaison? if you can please raise your hand. And one that said, if you please raise your hand and I can move you over as a panelist. Joshua, if you want to go ahead. Joseph, sorry.
There you go. Hi, Joseph Yanichuk, Charlotte Department of Transportation, Special Events. That work?
Thank you.
And Leslie, can you ask the liaisons if can they put themselves on video? Because if you are a liaison, if you can put yourself on video as well, because I think the public needs to see who you guys are.
Ahmad?
Hello, Imad Fakhruddin with the City of Charlotte General Services, Senior Project Manager, Community Services.
And do we have any other liaisons within the attendee list that I can move over to the panelists? If you'll just raise your hand or send a chat for us to unmute you. So I know it sounds like a lot of liaisons that are present, but we do have a few that are not here today for whatever reason. But we have here in the city almost 23 different lead liaisons that represent within the 16 departments, as well as some of our third-party vendors that receives funding for the city of Charlotte that falls under the transition plan. So even though some may not be present here today, if you all have any questions that may pertain to a particular organization, if we're not able to answer, we'll definitely be sure to get back with the liaisons to help answer your questions. But at this time, because we want to show the community that the city hasn't just started this work, there are several projects that have been taking place throughout the city that we're gonna highlight today before actually just taking some questions from the community. So I'm gonna go back to the computer to pull up the presentation just to show some things that the city has been doing and ongoing projects that are happening here in the city as it relates to accessibility.
Thank you, Leslie. And while you're doing that, I guess the audience, what we haven't shared is, what is the transition plan? First of all, while you pull that up. And the transition plan, as has been indicated, is the actual work that we'll be doing, and it outlines dates of when we should have things completed, how much a particular project may cost, and these are projects that will remove barriers in the community. So this is going to be our outline, our plan of work for the next several years, and it helps us kind of be more intentional about maybe finding other ways of doing works when other projects are being created. For an example, if there is a particular sidewalk that might need an improvement, if there's going to be some work done in that area anyway, we could possibly do everything at one time under one project. And just having a clearer picture about the work that's before us and what we need to do. So as Leslie has indicated, there are already some projects that we've already have completed, and she's going to go through and share some of those projects with you. And if you have a question, feel free to ask us. But I would also, while we had a moment, like the opportunity to thank Alicia Emmons and for joining us in the late hours to kind of help put this on. Corporate Communications for all their efforts. And Leslie has not shared with you that she has been project managing a lot of this work for the last 2 years. Altura has been our consultant, but just ensuring that we remain on schedule and getting communication out there. You probably see her name and emails more so than anything else, and if she did not share that with you, I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. So Leslie, if you wanted to share some of the projects that we've kind of gone over, and also about some of the communications efforts that we've taken over as well.
Perfect. So as you all see on the screen, you have the City of Charlotte website improvements. And as we learned very quickly through COVID, this government had to change the way that we do business. And so some of the efforts that the city took is ensuring that our website remains accessible to the community. So as you all notice, there are two images, one which highlights our contact us area, and it is mainly features that are capable for JAWS readers, individuals that are utilizing the tools around JAWS, as well as those who may have low vision or some form of color vision. And so it allows you to be able to navigate those areas, as well as one of the cool aspects within the contact us is in the phone number area, it reads out the number as it's printed. So it allows those that are having a hard time or unable to see the numbers or the letters to be able to utilize that, those services. And it's a really great guide around JAWS. Another improvements and projects that we have keep going on is within our CATS department, within our rail line. There are aspects that have been designed to ensure that our residents who are blind or low vision remain safe on our platforms. So one of the things are the between the car barriers. And what's also really fun fact is that CATS was actually one of the first transit agencies in the US to include between car barriers on its Midway highlight platform. And basically, like I said, it allows individuals who are blind and low vision to remain safe and that they do not get too close to the platform while utilizing our transit system. Some other improvements that's taking place within CATS on our platform is ensuring accessibility pathway. And there's clearance to allow those who are utilizing other tools to navigate our platforms and our consumers to be able to have a clear path of travel while utilizing the platforms. So it's not a lot, these are really just small highlights that the city has been doing to improve accessibility. There's more and more projects that are taking place. A part of this transition plan, we also have our public right-of-way, and Tracy is here, so I'm putting her on the spot. But I will ask if Tracy would just share some highlights that's going on with CDOT and our public right-of-way, and a little bit about the transition plan around public right-of-way.
So as both Victoria and Terry mentioned, we've been including ADA barrier removal for years in all of our city projects. We also get a lot of ADA improvements through land development projects, but now we had a consultant back in 2017, Pullen Associates, go out and assess everything in the existing public rights-of-way. So that was over 2,500 miles of sidewalk, over 33,000 curb ramps. They looked at close to 4,000 bus stops, I believe, somewhere around there. They looked at pedestrian signal push buttons and whether or not we have accessible pedestrian signals at intersections. And so they were able to develop a scoring system that allows us to finally start programming ADA standalone projects. Plus it gives us the opportunity to go out and find some quick win situations. So it took over 3 years to collect the data just because of how extensive the system is. And so we've been working on getting an external viewer together so that other people will be able to see what the consultant found. So there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and next steps, as Terry mentioned, the public rights-of-way will probably take 20 to 30 years to fix everything in it, but it allows us the opportunity to plan and track work now that we didn't have before. So again, if there's something near where you live or where you work and it's, you don't want to wait to find out that it's 10 years down the road, we encourage you to call 311 and still continue making requests for curb ramp. If there's missing curb ramp or something like that, please continue to call us, and then, we can make that more of a priority.
And thank you, Tracy, for that. And Stephen Fisher has walked in, and I know I spoke earlier about some of the improvements that's happened within the city's website, but I think Stephen can definitely give you more in-depth. So Stephen, if you want to share high level some of the features that are within our city website.
With the city website, what I'm working on is making sure that navigation is more user-friendly for everyone. that uses the city, from people with a disability to without, they have the same exact experience. That is my goal for the website. There should be no variance. As Leslie mentioned, links will have a tan with a black outline to help people who have who are colorblind. And phone numbers will also, I had this tested through Julia. Phone numbers should read now like a phone number when somebody's relaying a, if you ask somebody for a phone number, it should read just like somebody telling you what a phone number is. I'm pushing that more people use alt text and start becoming more descriptive of images within the alt text, as well as YouTube, making sure that we have transcriptions under any YouTube video that is placed on the website, making sure that the YouTube videos have closed captioning as well. And the YouTube video, if it's too small, you should be able to increase the size to full width. Also, the RL tag is there. That should be getting utilized as well. My whole goal is to make sure that if you're doing it for one, you do it for all. So everybody who comes to the site, hopefully in the near future, will all have the same exact experience.
Thank you, Stephen. And so I'm putting the airport on the spot because I know there's some nice things that's happened at the airport recently around service animal release stations. So if you want to speak a little bit about how the airport has made improvements for experiences around travel.
Absolutely. At the airport, we have various amenities and services that are available. Some features are like our service animal release stations. I think the federal requirement is just that we have one, since we have one terminal, but we have multiple in many different areas on the concourses and the baggage claim level as well. We have mother's rooms, which is not directly related, but we have mother's rooms sprinkled on the terminal as well. All of our airlines are obligated to provide wheelchair service to passengers. They do that through third-party contractors, and you can request that service through the airlines themselves. We also have some programs such as the Hidden Disability Sunflower Program, that is an international program being adopted by multiple airports, as well as some non-aviation related businesses as well. And we also recently partnered with IRA, which is a visual interpreting service that provides our services for free when you're on the property.
Thank you.
Well, at some point in time, I think we're gonna probably roll to everyone. But I think that we talk about the work that we've been doing and doing. I'm still reminded of one example with solid waste many years ago. Ran into an issue around color blindness and the literature that we would send out around days for trash collection and recycling. And Brian, can you talk a little bit about what you guys did with that to kind of make sure the public was benefiting from the services that we're providing?
Right. We provide information to our customers about what the various collection days are for residential garbage and recycling yard waste and bulky items. And initially, when we were developing that material, it came to our understanding that that material wasn't arranged in a way that people who are visually impaired could differentiate between their particular service days. So knowing that, we went back and took a look at that information with corporate communications, re-engineered that material so that when customers seek out that information, they can clearly distinguish what their service days are. And that was we got positive feedback on that, understanding that that's what our customers really needed, the information in hand in order to have, obviously, their collection day and understanding of what that is. I want to add one thing, Terry, in terms of obstacles. I hope I'm not jumping ahead here, but in terms of something solid waste did also to address an accessibility issue, we had an ongoing issue with sidewalks being blocked. And that's part of our feedback that we would continuously get. We initiated a public information campaign to educate the public about not blocking sidewalks. And we had truck wraps, we had information we put on our website, and through corporate communications, we partnered, get that information out to our customers about keeping sidewalks clear and accessible, and making sure that our customers who have mobility issues could navigate sidewalks.
Thank you, Brian. I do remember that. I think we still have that campaign as a YouTube video. So I know we had Ms. Rory came in, you had an opportunity to introduce yourself as department. So
Hi, I'm Candace Rory. I am the lead responsible for planning, design, and development department.
And please, can you tell us a little bit about how you've been helping us navigate through this work in your current role?
So I'm the liaison with the city attorney's office, but I've been involved with this for a long time. I previously was an attorney for CAT, so I was helping them with ADA issues, and then it expanded to citywide. So now I provide legal support for the ADA team. So if anybody has legal questions about, what's required under the law, I'm available for those questions. Answer those.
And more specifically, it's for city employees.
For city employees, right?
Yeah. Okay, we talked to you.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For all the liaisons, I'm available for any questions you have.
All right. Anyone else have any projects they would like to highlight at this time, or can you? Do we have any other liaisons want to highlight any of their projects?
Ms. Lord?
Yes. Trying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
yeah. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I had a situation the other week, flying with Spirit Airlines about accessibility for my husband who uses a wheelchair, and I requested a wheelchair before we got there, and they did not have one ready. We didn't make it we had to wait a little bit. We had to hang out early morning flight from Charlotte to Orlando. So, but coming back from Orlando to Charlotte, they did not have a wheelchair for us, and we had to wait quite some time, and it caused us to miss our flight.
I can speak to that. If you would like to send me an email, you can email me at adacoordinator@cltairport.com, and I can get your information and I can pass it on to Spirit and their subcontractor for wheelchair services.
ADA coordinator at
CLT Airport.
So we end up having to pay extra to fly on another airline to get home.
Thank you for sharing.
And just for clarity, in terms of airport and actual aviation that service at the airport? What is the distinction? I know you guys have responsibilities up to a certain point.
We also have requirements from the Federal Aviation Administration, and then there's also the Airline Accessibility Act. And it's kind of like ADA in the terminal, and then on the plane, that's the different act. So the requirement is that the airlines provide service to anyone, wheelchair service to anyone that requests it. And that is their responsibility, but I'm always here as a third party to make contact between the passenger and the airline and their wheelchair service provider and try to help get that all sorted out.
So also, thank you, Major, for attending. We just introduced all of the liaisons, so the community and the public wants to know who's in the room. So if you can share your name, who you're with, so they'll know.
Sure, thank you, Terry. Terry and I go back a long way, so I'm glad to be here, and you can call me out anytime, so thank you for that. Dave Robinson, I work for CMPD, the ABA liaison for our organization within the city, and I'm learning a lot and trying to learn as much as I can as far as that goes. I replaced Deputy Chief Cherie Pearsall when she got promoted about 18 months ago, and so she handed the reins off to me and said, you're swimming in the deep water now, so you can figure it out. And, so I'm trying to take in as much. Leslie has been tremendous with bringing me up to speed on what we need to know, so just trying to meet the needs of folks within our community.
Thank you so much, David. You're doing a great job. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. So do we have any questions from the community at this point?
So I'm getting to move Miko to a panelist. Miko, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Miko, did you still have a question? Miko, did you have a question? So at this time, if anyone has any questions, if you'll just please raise your hand and we'll move you over to a panelist to ask your question. Or if we have any liaisons that are as an attendee that need to be moved over to introduce yourselves, if you'll just raise your hand.
Could y'all hear me?
We can hear you now, Miko.
Okay. I don't know, I didn't know if y'all was hearing me the first time. It was two things that I was listening to. Some of the stuff that you saying, some of the neighborhood development as far as like sidewalks and different things like that. With some of the ADA Act. What is specifically with some of this development, how much have they had community input that you know of or aware as far as like surveys in the neighborhood or actually, you know, canvassing, asking some of the neighbors in certain communities of choice versus I know they have bike lanes, things of that nature. So like, what are they actually doing that you know of to get the community's input with the residents in those areas of choice that they feel may be possibly affected?
Is this around the public right away, Miko, or just development period?
Like development, the development process period, like in the beginning phase before they, you know, they start doing something and then, you know, community be like, oh, well, we didn't know anything about this. We had no input. So, you know, in the beginning stage, like, what do you know as far as that they have done?
Yes, ma'am. So when it came down to the input around the transition plan, early on in 2 phases of the transition plan, we hosted public input sessions to allow the community, as well as outreach. We were very intentional in providing sending outreach to those organizations and partners who specifically work with individuals who live their lives daily with disabilities or provide services. So we hosted 2 public outreaches, as well as we produced a survey that went out to the community to ask for their input in 2 different phases of the transition plan. The same process happened with the public right of way, which is where our sidewalk improvements take place. One of which those public outreach took place at the same time with our public right of way. And most of our improvements when it comes to the transition plan are focused around city-owned buildings and facilities, as well as third-party agencies that are connected to the city. So we don't directly do development as far as neighborhood development besides sidewalk improvement and bus stops. But as far as like our facility improvements are all taking place within our facilities owned by the city, as well as our third-party vendors that are receiving funding from the city, like Spectrum, CRBA, the arts. And so that's how we took our approach around the transition plan.
Oh, okay, so it's more on the bigger, broader band, not more community centered outside of if there's an issue with like the sidewalk in the neighborhood. So my second question would be, is anybody familiar with, should be, the Easy Rider? Like, what made them stop with the Easy Rider? Because the Easy Rider was more easy for people in certain areas that only wanted to commute within the neighborhood, or the Easy Rider had certain stopping points. If they thought about bringing that back, making that more accessible transportation for people that don't want to go downtown, don't want to go to the transit, don't want to do a lot of switching, when the Easy Rider took them in certain areas. Have they thought about revisiting that?
So you have someone from CATS.
So Miko, that is a question that's directed to our CATS department. And at this time, I am not aware. Chris, are you on?
I am, but I've never heard of the Easy Rider. I know that we do STS services, but I'm not a part of that department, so I'd have to consult with them.
So Miko, what I can do is reach out to our within the CATS department to learn more about the Easy Ride.
Okay.
That once was within our transportation system, to see what their goals are moving forward, next steps, and if there are alternatives to that program.
Okay, because I know when a lot of people, when we listen to a lot of the city council meetings, when a lot of people have certain issues, they talk about when you're looking at like transportation in certain developments in neighborhoods. I know the Easy Rider was more accessible for people that really didn't want to commute, to the transit to get a bus to change over, because the Easy Rider did have a great deal of coverage grounds, and it was not too expensive for people that couldn't really afford, certain commute. So yeah, if you can circle back around and let me know about that, if there's something they're thinking about bringing back. And I think that could bring a little bit more upward mobility. And when they're looking at transportation issues in the communities of choice, that's a possible way to help with that issue. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know how successful it was, because I don't know why they cut it. I don't know if it was budget or funding. I don't know. But yeah, maybe we can circle back around and have a conversation, about that.
No, fair enough. And we appreciate you sharing. We'll definitely look for more information for that.
Miko, this is Leslie Blazer with Housing and Neighborhood Services. In reference to specific neighborhoods, getting back, you can always call 311 to provide that information. If you see something on the ground in your neighborhood, you can always call 311 to report that. We also have service area liaisons for throughout the city. And you can contact your service area liaison, and they can connect you to any resources that you may need with the city. So those are some of the resources that we have that are specific to neighborhoods.
I have a question. They know I'm pretty active on it, don't matter what side. So saying that, I didn't even know that there was a community liaison outside of, we have our own community activists, advocates, support groups, and like boots on the ground that do different things and advocate. So when you say that there is a community liaison, If you're looking at like the neighborhood associations, they're watered down. So when you're looking at that, the community is not gonna get the information that they need to tap into the person of choice that can get the answers when some of the neighborhood associations are underserving. So when you look at that, is there a way that I could get a listing of all the liaisons? So if a person asks that question, I could point them in the right direction. Hey, this is your person in your area for whatever your issue is, versus a lot of times I find myself reaching out to Willie or Leslie, or I go to some of the CRC chairs and have to ask different people to get redirected. And I'm the kind of person that if I can have the information of choice and I don't have to, ask somebody to do something, it's more easy for me to have that because I need to know what's even on D3. So when we don't know those things and we don't have a contact, we're not gonna know who to contact outside. They might call 911 or they might say, well, we don't know who to call because it's not enough visual information, and everybody's not computer savvy or computer literate. Even though they have cell phones, they still have to call somebody to help them. So it's easy to have something or somebody that can give them what they do need.
Absolutely. So you can find out who your service area team member is. It's all based on geography. So we have a northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest team. So if you go to our housing and neighborhood website, charlottenc.gov/HNS, and then under community engagement, we have a map of that service area team. And you can find everybody's contact information on that page. And those liaisons can connect you to different services throughout the city.
Yeah, I'll try to go. I'll try to go on there, but for people, like I say, that don't have computer access, they're not gonna know to go on there. And if they go on the city website, they're gonna see they're gonna look at, I'm thinking about seniors. So only thing they're gonna look at is a website with a whole bunch of stuff on there and say, what am I supposed to click? They're gonna get confused. So it's like the simple fix. I like to try to get a simple fix that makes it more easy when I'm doing my advocacy and work with a lot of different people.
Absolutely. Those service area liaisons do a lot of work within the communities and do a lot of one-on-one with people who do have access to technology, and also a lot of people who don't. So I can take your contact information and you and I can talk a little bit more about those types of things, and I can connect you to the right folks.
Okay, I'm open to that.
So Miko, so because this is being live streamed, don't want to put your information out there all the way.
Leslie can give it to you, please.
I will get with Leslie. Yes, so I will get with Leslie and share your email address with her for you guys to connect offline on additional services and resources that are available to the community based around the work that you do.
Okay.
Do we have any additional questions as it relates to the transition plan?
No, not right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone, do we have any questions on YouTube, Facebook? Any questions on the Gov channel?
We have a couple more minutes. I would again ask each liaison to champion any projects they've been working on at this time, so at least the public community can know what they've been working on. I know that so you had a new feature with regards to email. I want to talk to the public about how they reach out to you guys in your office. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So my name is Susan Walker, and I'm the Finance Department's ADA liaison. And we have set up an email for the Finance Department ADA liaison, as well as phone number. So that has been added to all of our email distributions if there's anything financial related that you may need. And we also have been working with Stephen in corporate communications to update our finance web pages. And so hopefully we'll be able to go live with that relatively soon.
Thank you, Susan. And Dave, I'm not putting you on the spot, but I can't remember 911 cell phones. That was a new feature that CNPD introduced several months ago. Can we talk about that a little bit?
So, not the expert on that, but I do know our text to 911 and our robust use with our cell phone providers as far as everybody uses a cell phone now, so that's 99% of the way we get information. We also have our TBD option for people who want to communicate with us that way. We're constantly trying to evolve when it comes to how we take in information. We're at a period, and I don't listen. I want to be clear. We talk about hiring and staffing and all that. We'll never hide behind that as an issue, but we are struggling with getting telecommunicators in the seat to do the work, right? And that's tough to do. So we're trying to hit all of our marks, harness that technology, where we capture all calls that come in a very quick time frame. Our partnership with Fire is strong, as well as Medic, to be able to take those calls when we hit a critical mass and we roll calls towards them. So we're constantly meeting, looking for options there, where we're more responsive to the community's needs. Specific to that, yes, we're always
Terry?
Yes.
I don't want to leave out one of our community partners that played a major role in this transition plan, the work and support around disability rights and resource. So Ms. Marty and Ms. Samantha, I am going to move you all as a panelist. If you all would like to share anything with the community, and we want to say thank you to you all in Disability Rights and Resource for the work and support around our transition plan and the efforts that the city has made, and always making sure that the city stays on their toes when it comes around to accessibility. So Marty or Samantha, would you all like to share anything? I do have it where you can unmute yourselves if you wanted to.
Hi, this is Samantha Nevins, Executive Director of Disability Rights and Resources. While I wasn't here while most of the transition plan was taking place and the work that our agency did, I feel I speak on behalf of the agency to appreciate having been a part of the process as a subcontractor and community partner of the city. So happy that we are having this opportunity to participate today in the update. Marty, did you have anything you wanted to add? I know our role as the Center for Independent Living and our work on this transition plan, aside from the feedback, was the ongoing ADA liaison training for the ADA every month at our advocacy meetings, and looking forward to continuing that as we can in a refresher capacity. So thank you, Leslie. Terry.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Samantha. Marty, did you have anything that you would like to share? Do we have any other questions? What about from social media platforms, YouTube or Facebook, anything? Questions?
Hi. Terry, if you don't mind,
sure.
I would be happy to share some ADA tips for people coming to the airport, if that would be okay.
Sure.
So our Charlotte airport is the 5th busiest airport in the world. We served 43 million passengers last year. A major hub for American Airlines, so it's very busy. Airline traffic actually came back a whole year earlier than projected. So please be very generous with your time coming to the airport, especially if you do need to request wheelchair services. All of our shuttle buses are either accessible, or every route has an accessible bus in the slots. So you should be able to get from any parking lot, any parking deck, perfectly fine. We have accessible spaces on all of our lots and all of our decks. And our visual interpreting service, IRA, it will work anywhere on airport property. So they can start from the parking lot, the parking deck, all the way through the terminal if needed as well. As the traffic is so busy, highly request people reserve online fine for parking, and that will also get you a discount. And if you are dropping off or picking up a passenger that needs assistance, I would also highly recommend bringing another person to drive the car so that you don't have to deal with that parking issue and they can just circle or wait the cell phone lot. All of our information is on our website, and my contact information is on our website as well, the accessibility page. And we take any complaints, any requests, any questions. I'm happy to answer, investigate, and work with our airport partners for all of this.
Thank you. So a lot has been shared today. I think that the one thing that we would like to also make sure that the public is aware is that for us, accessibility is not just having you come to our facilities where we want to make sure that it's more accessible in different ways. And I think our website has been one of those ways that we've been pushing in terms of a lot of our services are now available on the website. I know 311 actually encourages citizens to use the website a little bit more as well. And that ensures that we are able to provide whatever level of service that we have been to you in a virtual sense. So please look at that as an option. If you have questions and concerns, we've updated the community relations ADA website with a lot of the information. So the ADA liaisons will be listed on there. The information in regards to the current ADA transition plan is on there. A timeline of things that we've done from 2012 until now will be listed on there. We'll have videos. We'll actually have a copy of this video made available to the public if you want to review it again. And if you have additional questions, we do have an ADA website that you can at least go to leave a question there, or you can go to our ADA email and also email us any questions that you may have. So there are a lot of things that we just wanted to make sure the public was aware of around this work. This is something that we have a lot of energy around, and we have actually made sure that the city of Charlotte's culture has shifted to not as one of those things that we're just checking off the box that we need to do, but we know the importance and realize that this is really the right thing for us to do. And we look at it more from a civil rights standpoint that everyone should have access to all of our city services, any of the programs that we provide, and any of the activities that we have. We want to ensure that if there are things that are kind of giving you a barrier to those, please let us know so we can take a chance at trying to correct that and making it better for everyone in the city to use. So,
Terry, we just have one more question from Stephanie Campbell. Stephanie? Stephanie, you're unmuted. Stephanie, we're unable to hear you if you are speaking. So what I will do is read her question real quick from the chat. It was pertaining to STS, and I'm not sure what the exact question was, but she's just asking if there was somebody concerning STS here. Chris, can you please provide your contact information so I can send it to Stephanie? Your email address, please? Or where can one send for STS?
Yeah, I'm going to default to our lead CATS liaison, Lashima Tate. She isn't on the call right now, though, but I can provide you with her contact information.
Okay. If you'll just put it in the chat for me so I can send it over to
Sure thing.
Stephanie. Thank you.
So That's pretty much it. I don't want to leave anyone out. If anyone wants to share anything at this point in time, last chance. Good. Good. Everyone's good? Leslie?
I am great.
So we will have this recorded and we will share it as well. Anything else we need the public to know?
Everything's fine. Besides, we are officially here. So also on our website is a location where you can submit any grievances, or if you have any concerns, definitely send it to 311. But if you want, we will have the link live on our website, and the link is in it's in our comment box, but it is going to be charlottennc.gov/CRC/ADA for you to go directly to the ADA site. Our email address is charlotteada@charlottenc.gov. And so please feel free, share information with us. We're here to support, we're here to answer questions, and we're here for everyone. So thank you.
So thank you all, and I think we've approached our time. I don't want